we see that some people just have this potential. That's the insane thing. That's such amount of pressure. And here you can also see leadership, the equalities. This is a principle that we see very often in military, but also in sales. This will be way more effective than what he do right now. That's insane. My name is Saint Simon, and in today's video we explore Whiplash, how to tap into your potential. If you don't know, Whiplash is a movie that follows a drummer who has the potential to become one of the greatest jazz drummers of his generation. Now the problem is that even though he has the potential within him, the journey is to get that potential out of him. That's the hardest part. In this video we explore some strategies how you can tap into your potential. Opening shot. We see a protagonist, a drummer. We know that this movie is about drumming.
I'm sorry.
No, stay.
Potential, I always describe potential like a gold mine. The principle is actually very funny because you have sometimes people who have a lot of potential but don't have the work ethic to actually harvest that potential. So they have a gold mine with potentially a lot of gold in it. And then you have people who have a gold mine with, let's say, a bit less potential, but who have a better work ethic to actually harvest that potential.
It's just life. You get to be my age.
We also see in the cinema scene that his life is dull, it's boring, it's empty, he has a lack of focus, a lack of ambition. So in some way he's similar to a protagonist from Crazy Stupid Love, and in some way he's also like our protagonist from Fight Club. He's not living his full potential, but is more like in a low energy, low frequency, low level of consciousness state. You see it just alone in the way how he moves. He moves in this way through the life, like he's half awake, half asleep. He's not really awakened, but not like in a spiritual sense, but just look at his body language. He's like bored, he is sleepy, he's like, oh, I don't like that, I feel empty, I feel dull.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
That's also cool. We see here the leadership difference between this guy, who I don't know the name of, and Fletcher, because he's starting, good morning everybody, but he doesn't have the passion. And here you can also see leadership, the equalities, because from the way how the leader, in this case the group leader, how he is from the energy, the group is a reflection of him. Because he is bored and he's like, okay, let's try another take. Good morning, everybody. We see this kind of energy as a reflection in the students who only play like with half-hearted, only with a bit of energy, but not with their full energy, not with focus and precision. We see that some people just have this potential and they can sense that they have this potential, this talent. So they feel unhappy if they don't use it, because it feels like that something is missing. It feels like that you don't live accordingly to how you should live. And in his case, we see that. He can sense that there's more potential within him, that there's more in him that he can get out, but he's not able to get it out. And this is where the frustration kicks in. Just by the way Fletcher comes in, BAM! It again shows the suspense, again shows that everyone is silent. Everyone is watching, everyone is like...
Cute.
The only thing he says is cute. This shows again that what they play in the first group is nothing compared to the hardness level of the other group. If you want to harvest the potential of your students, you have to increase the hardness. But if you only play on low level, on light level, not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, trying something new, something more complex, something more harder, then you will never explore your potential and never express your full potential.
3, 4. Okay, all right.
That's also very cool that you can sense within less than 10 seconds, someone plays the play and then no. This is again quantum physics. Your whole way of expressing yourself, to your body movement, your clothes, everything is an expression of your consciousness. So if someone already starts to play like, it's already, no, because your whole thinking is already wrong. You're already, not wrong, but it's not on this level that he wants for his team. So you don't have the right thoughts. You don't have, the moment you start playing, it's not focus, it's not full potential, but it's, so no, already no. So, and you can hear it within 5 seconds.
No, other drums.
I think the reason why he picked him is because he observed that he trains outside of the normal practices. So while everyone is just practicing, he, a protagonist, also practices outside of the normal practices. And you can see in his eyes, and you can see from the way how he moves that he has more within him. Everyone else is like, I'm pretty good, I'm okay, maybe I can improve a bit, but he's like, I have ambition, I have potential, and I want to tap in, but I'm right now not living that potential. And I think Fletcher sees that he has potential, that he wants to harvest that potential, and he sees, okay, I can push this guy to his new level. In the beginning, his life was dull, it was boring, and now he has, for the first time, from this low level to this high level. He made the transition from the first group to the second group, and he asked the girl out, and she said yes. But now the story isn't over. He achieved nothing, but he is now on a new level. So it starts over again, but now on a new level. The clock. 1, 2. That's insane. Everyone is relaxed, everyone is calm, everyone is alright, and then now he steps in and everyone is like military, stands up, pure silence. No sounds, no nothing, just pure silence. Most of them are even afraid to look at him. This is like pure military standard, pure military focus. Everyone is waiting on a signal, like a military, waiting, hold, like in Gladiator. Hold! Diamond! When we compare the first group to the second group, we see the difference just in the rhythm. The first group is like, we play, and the second group is way more bum, 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 bum. So it's way more focused, way more precise, way more on point. But in what we see right now, it's way more brutal, way more mistakes are not forgiven. Every small mistake is counted. It's precision on the detail, on the most detailed level. This is very similar to Full Metal Jacket from Stanley Kubrick's. The weapons of the soldiers have to be clean. They have to be ready. They have to be precise. And the soldiers always have to go with the mentality always to be ready. It's also something that Miyoto Musashi describes in the Book of Five Rings, that you only pick up the sword with the intention to kill. And we see it here the same thing. In this sense, it's not a weapon or not a sword, but in this case, it's the instrument. But they only pick it up when playing. And when playing, then pure focus, pure intention, pure... This is a principle from the Japanese, and they have even a word or two words from it. It's also from Miyoto Musashi Book of Five Rings. So they describe it as shinkin. Shinkin means something like the cutting sword, and it means translated to take something serious, to make something with seriousness, with focus. And then there's also an increased form called shinkin shobu, what means translated something like the deadly sword or the killing sword. This means to do something with dead seriousness, with ultra focus. You think of nothing else than just that. And this is a principle that we see very often in military, but also in sales. And you see the difference between in the first group and the second group, that the first group doesn't have seriousness. If you make mistakes, if you're late, etc., it doesn't matter that much. Where in the second group, it's like military standard. If you just say something, if you're not what was asked to say something, you're out. If you make a mistake, you're shouted at. So this increases the stakes. And by increasing the stakes, by increasing the shinkin shubu, the seriousness, Fletcher creates this ultra focus, that everyone is extremely focused. Sun Tzu was a general who also wrote The Art of War, and there's this famous story that he was at the Kaiser's place, and the Kaiser said, I want an army of this much people. So how to create an army that is really ready? And he said, with my principles, you could also have 100 women with no combat experience ready to go to war. So the Kaiser tested it. 100 women gathered together in the castle, given a sword. And Sun Tzu said, if I say turn to right, you turn to the right. If I said you turn to the left, you turn to the left. If I said to turn to the front or to the behind, you turn front or behind. Is that understood? The woman, yes. So he says, right, the woman turn right, laughing a little bit. So turn left, they turn left, but some make mistakes. Again, this Fletcher move. Sun Tzu, if mistakes are made in the execution, it's the fault of the general because he has not communicated it clearly. But if he has communicated it clearly and mistakes are still made, then it's the fault of the soldiers. So I repeat, if I say turn right, you turn right. If I say turn left, you turn left. If I say turn in front or behind, you turn in front or behind. Is that understood? The woman, yes. Again, he is like right, and everyone turns right. He is left, everyone turns left. He is front, everyone turns front, and mistakes again are made. Sun Tzu gets out his sword and cuts one of the woman's head. Dead silence. Sun Tzu repeats, if the general communicates the commands and the commands are not properly executed, people die. So I repeat again, if I say right, you turn right. If I say you turn left, you turn left. If I say turn in front, you turn in front. And if I say turn behind, you turn behind. Is that understood? The woman look at him with frightening fear. Yes. Right, everyone turns right. Left, everyone turns left. Front, everyone turns front. Behind, everyone turns behind. No mistakes. Absolute precision. Dead seriousness. Sun Tzu looks at the Kaiser and says, here you have an army ready for combat. In this scene we see here where Fletcher is destroying one of the students is exactly that. By him destroying one of the students, eliminating from the team, this is his, in this case, because this is not military, this is in this case cutting someone's head off, increasing the stakes, showing that if you make mistakes, if you're out of focus, then you get eliminated. So this is the scene. Fletcher says, in this sense, metaphorically, turn right, turn left. In this sense, it's not turn right, left, but play this, play that, play that. And now someone is out of tune. He already knows who is out of tune. But still, he's now again, this is again the same thing like Sun Tzu. It's, I said turn right, I said turn left, but they still make mistakes. So they are not completely focused. There's a lack of focus. There's a lack of shinkin shibu. There's a lack of seriousness. They don't take it serious enough. This is also putting someone under pressure to see if they can handle pressure. This is something we see in The Devil's Advocate.
Some people, you squeeze them, they focus. Others fold.
And he is even about to cry. That's the insane thing. That's such amount of pressure.
And why the didn't you say
And this is exactly that. This is his way of killing someone. This shouting, this aggressive, especially with the silence in the background. So this whole thing is not about being out of tune, but it's about increasing the focus. What we see here, where he already knows who is out of tune. This whole scene was only there to show everyone that even though you are in this team, even though you are in this group, you still can be anytime eliminated if you lose focus or if you're not able to perform under pressure. Now the next thing is about a technique they use, especially Navy SEAL training, and that is to tap into aggression. Aggression is the emotion of action. What Fletcher does is first he creates this safe space, putting his guard down. Now he gave us information about him, profiling him, analyzing him to analyze where he has his triggers.
Parents musicians?
Like the first thing he asks him is about parents.
What about your mother? What does she do?
I don't know, she left when I was a baby.
Because by understanding someone's childhood and by understanding someone's relationship to their parents and by understanding where they come from, how was their childhood, this way he can understand how his character was formed, and he can also understand how he from the character is, where his triggers are, where his weaknesses are.
All right, man. Have fun.
He creates this safe space saying, have fun, only to relax him, to put him off guard, only to then, in the next scene, to completely crush him. Because all what this is about is that if you're not living your potential, you're basically all the time unconscious.
Ready?
Also, he teaches them how to fall in line. This is again this military principle of you're not rushing, you're not dragging, and you say and you play when I give the commands. And he again now takes him off guard. Because it's to be in this focus, what we see in Sun Tzu, being all the time completely focused, dead seriousness, being conscious, being aware, so that you're aware what you're doing, not just playing, like, oh, what I'm playing, but actually knowing what you're doing.
Start counting.
5, 6, 7.
In 4, damn it, look at me.
Provoking him, insulting him, punching him, to do everything just to tap into that aggression.
Were you rushing or were you dragging? Answer!
Rushing.
And again he starts to cry like the other guy, because it's so much pressure to see, can he perform under pressure?
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Even that is also this louder and louder to get these emotions out.
Say it louder!
I'm upset.
And now at the end, where he's really shouting, this is where he actually gets his emotions out, where he starts the journey of tapping into his potential. Now on the one side, he's very ashamed of him and completely, out of place with his emotions. But on the other side, he's also, now that he's provoked, he's also have this, I want to show him, I want to get even better, I want to get everything. Because he, in the beginning of the movie, metaphorically, he wanted to tap into his emotions. He wanted greatness. And now he realizes that this is the price he has to pay for greatness. Obviously, in the real life, it doesn't have to be that toxic, but in his sense, in this movie, in this framing, this is the price he have to pay to be part of this group, to be great. And now he decides, I'm not a quitter, I'm not gonna quit, I'm gonna perform, I'm gonna deliver, I deliver under pressure, I perform under pressure. And now he has focus, now he has Shinkin Shibu, now he actually starts to tap into and harvest his potential. Back then in Sparta was famous for the military, because Sparta was one of the strongest militaries that existed in their generation. And it was due to one thing mostly. And this is a principle that we see also in Navy SEAL training, what we see, for example, also in Full Metal Jacket from Stanley Kubrick's. And that is that training is harder than the actual battle. So the Spartans, when they went to war, they were more afraid of going back to training than the actual battle, because the training was so brutal, so exhausting and so deadly that it was way more dangerous and way more harder than the actual battle, than actual warfare. And it was after the war, after the battle, as they returned home to Sparta to train again, that this was what they were more afraid of. And this is what we see, for example, here. Normal people, like most people, they train very lightly. So then if they're in the competition, and it can be also in class, in university, that when you have to perform, it's harder, because now you have maybe a blackout, maybe you have fear and anxiety. Now you have this pressure of performing in front of on the stage, now that people are watching. In this sense, it's the opposite. It's exactly like Sparta. For this group, for Fletcher's group, the training is so brutal, so exhausting, and so metaphorically deadly that when they are on an actual competition, the competition is easy compared to training. Because in the competition, Fletcher can stop them. In the competition, Fletcher can punch them or insult them in front of everyone. So they have this like safety that they're not getting punched, insulted in front of everyone, but that they just can play. And this is a very, very strong principle. Again, if it's not toxic, but it's basically the principle that if you train very hard, then the actual battle will be very, very easy. Now he's focused. He's not losing his focus, but he starts with focus and he keeps his focus. That's the difference. In the beginning, he started with focus and then lost his focus while playing. He now has focus, so he started with focus and he continues to keep the focus, stays to be aware, stays to be in the moment, in the zone, in the flow.
I'm sure they'll make great school board presidents someday.
Oh, that's what this is all about? You think you're better than us?
Now that he has results, now that he reached something, he thinks, oh, I'm better than anyone, I'm the best, I'm da-da-da-da. But it's only one level, because he's now on the new level. He started at level 1, then he increased to level 2, where he joined Fletcher's group. Now he's on level 3, where he stayed in Fletcher's group, but now he is on a new level. Now he has again to improve, again to reach, again to tap into his emotions. And now it's getting again harder for him.
If you want the part earn it.
This is where we have nowadays this toxic way of personality development, that you have to wake up at 4 a.m., that you have to cold shower, that you have to run 20 kilometers, and then it's 8 a.m. and now the day starts. Now you have to again work for 12 hours, sleep only 4 hours, etc. That's toxic. That will not get you where you want to get. It's really important to push yourself and to get out of your comfort zone and to push yourself to things that are uncomfortable, but not like that you be so much toxic. It's called toxic because it is, like the word describes, it's self-destroying. There's a difference between sacrificing something or being toxic. Sacrificing something is to give something up in trust, in devotion. Toxic is just self-destruction. And here we see exactly that. This is self-destruction. This is toxic. One of the players who became great then killed himself because the pressure was too hard. And this is what I mean with that you need, in order to achieve your goal, you need to make sacrifices, but to make a sacrifice is something different than being toxic and self-destructive, because being toxic and self-destructive is what will ultimately make you extremely unhappy, extremely under pressure, and then maybe in this case even lead to death. But if you sacrifice something, then it's only you're sacrificing something, you're giving something up, and then you feel relieved, you feel free, you feel joy. So the emotions on the level of consciousness scale are way higher. And this is why he shouldn't break up with his girlfriend, so that she helps him, likewise with his father, to stay grounded, to have those elevated emotions. Because he thinks, I have to be better, I have to be better. And he puts in the practice, but with the wrong feeling. That's the thing. Because he puts in the practice, but with a toxic feeling. So he puts in the practice, but with the feeling of low-level emotions, of fear, of guilt, of shame, of being not good enough. So his whole drive is, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, it's a low level of self-love, low level of self-esteem, self-confidence. Instead, what he should rather do is to have practice with the feeling of joy, with the feeling of gratitude, of love. This would be way more effective than what he do right now.
I wanted you guys to know he was a beautiful player.
As a character, like from a screenplay wise, Fletcher's whole motivation is to create a masterpiece of a musician. He wants someone who is the greatest of all time. Because Fletcher is a teacher, he's not a musician himself. If he makes music, he does it for fun, just for joy, slow, relaxed. But if he's a teacher and he wants someone who is one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time, and he can say, I created him. Similar to Hercules, actually, where we have a Hercules trainer where he says, I want to create a hero. I want to be the trainer where they say, this was the guy who created this GOAT. So Fletcher's whole motivation is to find potential people and then to push them to their limits to then create the greatest of all time. And this is where our protagonist, this is what I said in the beginning, our protagonist pushed himself to a level of toxicity that he destroyed himself. He didn't sacrifice things, he obviously also did sacrifice these things, but in this sense, he became so toxic that he self-destructed himself.
You're done.
And this is what you get if you push yourself too hard. And this is the thing about personal development, the same thing. If you go like that, waking up at 4 a.m., doing all of those things, then what will happen is 2 weeks later you have completely that, instead of building a new lifestyle step by step.
Andrew?
And now the protagonist lost all the hope in his dream. That's the sad thing, because he still has this potential. He has still this greatness inside him, but now that he has so many negative associations with it, so many toxic experiences and so much trauma associated with drumming and with jazz, it's hard for him to now have joy and love for the art. And this is the thing about a lot of things in life, that once people start to go professional, once they try to what they love to do to make as a job, they put so much stress in it, so much toxicity, that they lose the joy in what they actually love to do. We see this a lot often in musicians, where they love to do music, then to try to be an actual musician and to make money from music, to make music as a job, and where they then lose the joy for making music. In this sense, it's exactly that. He now lost all the joy for drumming and for jazz or for music because he has so much trauma and so much negativity associated with it. And this is really sad. And here we see his life is again dull. It's again boring, it's lifeless, there's no joy, there's no love, because he's not living according to his potential. Our protagonist also has nothing left except jazz. That's the thing about a protagonist, he has nothing else than jazz. That's the thing about, in this case, being great, because he doesn't have a girlfriend or no joy in having a relationship, he doesn't have a nice job or anything, but the only thing he has is jazz and drumming. That's the only thing and nothing more.
You think I'm stupid?
What?
I know it was you.
Our protagonist is again faced with that. He is embarrassed, he failed, and now he realizes that there is nothing else in this world except jazz. And now he has the possibility to quit or to go back and give it all. But he is like, nah, I have to get back. Because the difference here in the beginning is that now he has no suppressed anger. Now he actually uses his anger. In the beginning, where he had suppressed anger, he would just suppress his emotions. But in this case, he doesn't suppress his anger, but he gets out his anger.
I'm guessing most of you folks have heard.
Now he's free, now he's independent, because he plays without commands, he makes his own thing, he takes control. And this is the same thing we see in Crazy Stupid Love or in Fight Club and a lot of other movies we analyze here on the channel. A protagonist takes control of his life. A protagonist embraces his anger, his suppressed emotions, he faces his emotions, and he uses all of that to take control and to free himself. And this is where Thatcher realizes he is the one. And this is funny because both protagonists, the protagonist and the antagonist, both reaches what they want. In most cases, when we have like Batman and the Joker, the protagonist wants something and the antagonist wants something, but only one of them often get it. In this case, he wants to be the greatest, and our antagonist wants something to create one of the greatest, and both reach their goal. The protagonist becomes the GOAT, one of the greatest drummers in jazz music, and our antagonist also reaches his goal by creating one of the greatest. So it's also, the whole story can be seen as we have those two parties who are fighting against each other to then work together to reach their final goal of greatness, to tap and to express and to harvest full 100% potential. Even though everyone is done, he's not done playing, because this was a great show, nice show, good show, but it wasn't one of the best performances ever. Now he over-delivers, showing this is the greatest performance ever. And we see it in this scene where he has pure focus. No, he has nothing else, not even the music, because he's so in this flow, zen state of being that everything goes by itself. His higher self, his subconscious mind and his conscious mind all focus so deeply on playing the greatest performance ever. They're all in harmony, one altogether. Oneness. This is perfection on the highest level, like 100% pure perfection on the millimeter. Every inch, millimeter is perfectly. Now both realize that they made it. They made the greatest performance ever. Okay. My name is Saint Simon and this was another episode. Today we analyzed Whiplash. I hope you liked this video. Please write our comments. I really appreciate if you write comments. It's really cool if you write comments. I love reading the comments. If you watch those kind of videos, it's very likely that you're also into those topics of personal development. So write it in the comments. And write in the comments what you want to see next. It was a pleasure, like always, and we see you again in the next video.